Welcome to the show, David.
Welcome.
No, I'm already here. I say welcome, you say thank you. That's how it works. It's a
and welcome to the announcement of the Gone from the Win Awards nominations. We had the Oscars this week, so I figured it was perfect time to announce the nominations later. Some of these categories are going to be interesting because the winner of the respective category in the Oscars actually didn't make it in the nominations of the Gone from the Win Awards, which is interesting. With some, but I've got Dan here. Dan, how's it going, and what do you think about the Oscars?
I'm tired, Malcolm. It's been a long couple of weeks for me. The Oscars, I look, it was such an exhausting year for the Academy Awards. I mean, awards in general, the award season. I've been doing this since July of last year, and you know how exhausting it can be when we did it on Gone with the Wind, and we were doing it bi-weekly, and then we started going weekly in October, and it's been so exhausting. And then the night of the show, once editing was announced, it was over. I mean, I just knew what was going to happen. Once editing fell for Anora, it was like, okay, so I'm just sitting here just twiddling my thumbs the rest of the night, hoping for, Conan O'Brien to do some funny things and some entertaining things. And the show as a whole was relatively good. I liked him as a host, but the whole, it was anticlimactic. I was like, oh, wow, it's Anora. And it's like, I saw this movie, I think either the last day in October or the first day in November, Malcolm. And I said to my one of my writers, who was also a contributor on our podcast, Real Consideration, with Lewis and myself, that I don't think this is going to win. This is a Best Actress player, and that was going to be it. And then I thought when Conclave won the SAG for Best Ensemble, I said, oh, here we go. Conclave's coming. And I thought, oh, wow, this is going to be interesting, And then Demi Moore won. I thought, okay, we're going to get Demi Moore. We're going to get Conclave. We're going to get probably Brady Corbett and Corbet and director. Baker might win one or two, like a screenplay or something like that. There's no way on earth I thought this guy was going to win 4 Oscars and that movie win 5. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was shocking to me, but it was also so anticlimactic for me. It was like, wow, after all this, it became a sweeper within the context of the event itself. And it kind of was like a little bit boring for me by the end of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones I was kind of excited for this one because, unlike last year's, there was no, you had some categories sort of locked down that, oh yeah, I know this is going to win. This is going to win. We knew last year Oppenheimer was going to be a big favorite and win a lot. This year, there really was nothing like that. I don't think anyone saw Anora sort of going as well as it did, and and I mean, I think a lot of people predicted it because the week before it had the PGA, WGA, I think.
That weekend was strong. That was a strong weekend, Malcolm.
So I mean, I think a lot of people were predicting it because of that, but I think a lot of people didn't think well, I mean, with that's on specific goals. The Oscars as a whole, who knows where they're going to vote? And are they going to vote for this movie about sex and stuff?
A lot of cursing, a lot of nudity.
Yeah. So I was as well as I was kind of refreshing, and it's one of those ones. I enjoyed the show as it was. I did not miss the fact they didn't perform the best original song nominations like they normally do. And they were entertaining enough. It's I don't, and it's one of those ones and just controversy shooting Amelia Perez in the foot. I'm pretty sure it was I think if the controversy never happened, who knows what would have happened then.
I'm telling you right now, Malcolm, and I'll take this to the grave with me. The fires, and I don't want to. I'm not saying anything against the fires or what happened. The people that lost their homes. I feel so badly about all that stuff that happened, but I think this literally helped I'm Still Here, because in that 2 weeks that the fires were going on or whatever, and all that tragedy was happening in Los Angeles, this movie came out in theaters and it gave people a chance to see this movie. And with the controversy of Carlos Sofia Gascon, that opened the door for I'm Still Here.
Yeah.
And with the Brazilian stands going nuts, it didn't matter what, what YouTube channel. If you brought up I'm Still Here, or Fernando Torres or something, they were in your comments. They were spamming your comments. It was huge. So I think it opened the door for I'm Still Here. And I think in hindsight, it was well deserved, you know?
Yeah, but enough about that. We've been given enough people enough chance to get if they're going to watch it. We've got Brian in the chat. He mentioned that it was interesting that a complete unknown got nothing at the ceremony. I think this is one of those. I haven't seen it myself, but I know Lewis wasn't a fan of the movie.
I liked it. I liked it quite a bit.
Yeah, but I mean, it's one of those ones like. I think it just shows like how much they like the other movies as well. Because
it had a chance at sound. I think the biggest chance it had was either Timothy or sound. Those are the two categories. I think.
Yeah, and he also mentioned that Mikey Madison pulled in Olivia Colman.
I don't know. She might have been the actual favorite all along.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's one of those ones that, like, and we'll definitely get into it. There's like I've seen a lot of people online going, "Oh, Flo beating the Wild Rovers and ups." It's like Flo was a very strong contender. Like Flo and the Wild Rovers both the front runners in that category because like Flo got the Annie and the Globe, and and Wild Robot is the more popular.
Wild Robot got 9 Annie Awards. The
Wild Robot also got the Annie, but they were in different categories. So it was like. So, I mean, Flo definitely had just as much momentum as the Wild Robot did, but it is what it is. But moving on, the first category we have in the Gone with the Wind Awards, and as I like to do this, I will give them like 3 movies that were just on the outside. First, so just on the outside for the best visual effects category, we had Gladiator 2, Twisters, and Sonic the Hedgehog 3 just out there. But the nominations that we have is we've got Alien Romulus, Better Man, Deadpool and Wolverine, Dune Part 2, Furiosa, Mad Max Story, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and Wicked. Dan, what are your thoughts about the visual effects category?
Yeah, I mean, this is a lot, a lot of monkeys, some aliens. This is pretty much par for the course for visual effects,
Yeah. Move that from the studio.
And Deadpool and Wolverine in there. I forgot about that. Yeah, that didn't get in the Oscars.
No. But moving on to stunt ensemble, just on the outside, we had Wicked pop up, Hundreds of Beavers and Monkey Man were just on the outside for stunt ensemble. But the nominations for stunt ensemble, we've got Deadpool and Wolverine again, Dune Part 2, Furiosa, Mad Max Story, The Fall Guy, and Gladiator 2. Once again, pretty much the path for the course for nominations here, but any thoughts, Dan?
Yeah, good to see Furiosa get some love in the Gone with the Wind Awards. I think it was severely overlooked in the Academy, where I thought it was easily eligible for so many categories in the Academy Awards that for whatever reason it just got overlooked. So good to see it getting some love here.
Yeah. Moving on to Best Original Song. So just on the outside, we've got I've Always Wanted a Brother from Mufasa the Lion King, which I actually really like that song. I don't get it, but a lot of people hate the Lion King songs. Beautiful That Way from The Last Showgirl and Like a Bird from Sing Sing. We were just on the outside. But the nominations for Best Original Song, we've got Claw Machine from I Saw the TV Glow, Compress Repress from Challenges, Harper and Will Go West from Will and Harper, Kiss the Sky from Wild Robot, Mi Camino from Amelia Perez, and Starburnt and Unkissed from I Saw the TV Glow. Somehow people love Mi Camino from Amelia Perez. Like, I was surprised to see any Amelia Perez representation pop up in the Golden Film Awards, because I know how much this movie is not liked in general. I don't think it's as bad as people say personally. But Dan, what are your thoughts about best original song?
Yeah, my two favorite songs of the year are in here, and that's Will and Harper Go West and Kiss the Sky from the Wild Robots. So I'm happy about that. But I'm glad to see some love for I Saw the TV Glow. They had some really interesting songs. And of course, the movie a lot of people love is Compress Repress, so from Challengers. So, but of the two songs, I think the better song is Mi Camino from Amelia Perez, even though I think it was obvious that El Mal was going to win the Oscar. That was a bad category overall, I think, for the Academy Awards. That's just my opinion, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones like the ones that the Academy nominated. Like, I mean, they were good songs. Like, I'm one of those ones. Like, didn't mind the songs in Emilia Perez at all. It's just one of those ones. Like, I didn't think they should have been nominated either. but and but it's one of those ones they were going for like very opera aesthetic for the movie, as from what I've heard. So obviously, a lot of the songs are going to be really opera style, and that doesn't work for a lot of people. But moving on to best original score, the just on the outside, we had Nosferatu, Inside Out 2, and Anora. But the nominations for best original score, we've got Challenges, Conclave, Dune Part 2, The Brutalist, and The Wild Robot. The Gone for Wooden Awards don't do the bullshit the Academy did, and but I'm still on record for saying like I still can't tell the scores for the Dunes apart personally. But it is what it is. Dune is making in here. But Dan, what are your thoughts about the original score?
Yeah, I mean, geez, Star Wars has used the same music for years. It's look, they had a little bit of new in like the Phantom Menace had some new stuff. You know, they've had a little bit of new music here and there, but they've reused the same music over and over for years. Star Wars has, you know what I mean? And John Williams kept on getting nominated. So I don't get it. I don't understand why can't Dune 2 get nominated twice or whatever for the same Hans Zimmer. But Conclave is my favorite score, and I'm glad to see it. And I love Chris Bauer's score for the Wild Robot, so I'm glad to see those. But the Oscar winner is in here. The Brutalist is in here. The jokes about the guy going up, and he looked like Nosferatu. Those jokes were so funny all over the place. Like there's Nosferatu going up there getting them for the Oscar for the score. You know, people.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones like I will say I didn't mind. I kind of liked his acceptance speech too, because like it was one of those. It was kind of refreshing to see him go up. It's like he clearly is like not comfortable public speaking himself, as they kept on looking at his papers. Like,
no, not at all. Not at all. And I think they played music. They put music over him, right? Did he end up finishing his speech?
I think he did finish his speech.
Okay.
But yeah. But moving on to best sound, just on the outside for best sound, we've got a Complete Unknown, Gladiator 2, Alien Romulus, Conclave, Nosferatu, Flows, all on the outside. But the nominations for best sound, we've got Challenges, Civil War, Dune Part 2, The Substance, The Wild Robot, and Wicked. And yeah, I was really glad to see Civil War make it into best sound. I've been arguing it for years. Like, if Civil gets anything at the Oscars, I was hoping it was going to be best sound, but it didn't. It wasn't even shortlist, I don't think, which was a crime. But I'm glad the Gone for the Wind Awards people saw it. But Dan, what are your thoughts about best sound?
No, I'm right with you about Civil War. Glad to see it pop up here. The sound in Challengers is amazing. The tennis back and forth, that stuff is really good. Of course, the Oscar winner is here, Dune Part 2, and the Oscar winner for sound. So, but its competitor, Complete Unknown, nowhere to be found. Interesting.
Yeah. But moving on to best makeup and hairstyling. And just on the outside for makeup and hairstyling, Dune Part 2, Furiosa, Alien Romulus, and I Saw the TV Glow. But the nominations for best makeup and hairstyling, we had A Different Man, Beetlejuice, Nosferatu, The Substance, and Wicked. A lot of what was nominated at the Oscars, but Dan, what are your thoughts about makeup and hairstyling?
Yeah, this is par for the course in makeup and hairstyling. Beetlejuice is in here, which is good. A Different Man is in here, Nosferatu. But of course, the Oscar winner is The Substance, and it was well deserved. I heard people say, "Oh, the makeup in Wicked's amazing. Her being painted green." I said, I'm like looking to I said, "Really? You're blown away by the makeup in Wicked? It's good makeup, don't get." But look what they're doing in Nosferatu and The Substance and Beetlejuice and A Different Man. I mean, it's like a different level compared to Wicked, if you ask me. But the Oscar winner is in here, so people have a chance to vote for the Oscar winner if they vote that way.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones like I think people forget that the category is makeup and hairstyling, and like there's a lot of time I've made this argument before. A lot of times people focus on one aspect of the makeup, like Alphabet's green or stuff like that. Like don't focus on all the other aspects of makeup and hairstyling and on all the other characters. I think they did a good job of Wicked, like with the hairstyling and that is like I think all that was done well. But moving into best costume design, just on the outside, we've got Dune Part 2, Beetlejuice, Furiosa, and Deadpool and Wolverine. But our nominations are, this may take a little bit longer because I didn't have this one, all the other ones queued up. We had Conclave, Gladiator 2, Nosferatu, The Substance, and Wicked. Once again, the best picture, the Oscar winner is here, but a bunch of great nominations here. I was surprised to see Substance get in for costume design, but I think it's still good costumes as well. But Dan, what are your thoughts about costume design?
Well, I mean, Susan Summers, Jane Fonda workout video costumes. I guess those are the costumes and the kind of clothes. Yeah. I guess that constitutes costumes in some people's mind. I mean, I don't think I would have had it in here for costumes myself, but I love the robes and all the stuff in Conclave, and of course, Wicked's costumes are amazing. I can't wait for the costumes in Part 2 of Wicked. Wicked Forever or whatever it's called, till the end, Wicked till the end or whatever it's called.
Wicked for good. But yeah,
for good, Wicked for good. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to what they're going to do with the costumes in that one. And Paul Tazwell pulled off the Oscar, win first black man to win an Oscar in costumes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones like I like the costumes of Deadpool Wolverine. And I think I did have them in my 5 when I did my own nominations, but it's one of those ones like, especially Deadpool, it's the same costume we see all the time, and like Wolverine's was good, but I think a lot of the costuming in there, like, while it was good that they made it so lifelike to the characters, it's a lot of it was also nothing new, overly new either.
No. And that segment during the show was really good. How they did it with Bowen Yang. I thought we were in the chat group when we changed our minds. I'm like, that was a great bit.
Oh yeah. But next up, we've got best production design. On the outside, we've got Conclave, Saturday Night, and The Substance for production design. But our nominations for best production design is Beetlejuice, The Brutalist, Dune Part 2, Gladiator 2, Nosferatu, and Wicked. You're probably going to start seeing a theme of some of these movies that the Gone with the Wind audience really liked. But that being said, all these are deserving for production design. Like, say what you want about Beetlejuice. I think the technical aspects and stuff were good, and that.
Agree 100%. How they created the below the earth, the underworld, all that stuff was amazing. What they did with that whole world down there. I mean, I keep saying down there, but that world that Tim Burton was able to create.
Yeah.
And Wicked, of course, you get the Oscar winner here. But I love the production design in Nosferatu. And along with like visual effects and that stuff, that's part of what Dune, like making those ships and making those buildings look realistic, so I've always thought the production design in the
Yeah.
Dune movies is really impressive, but Nosferatu was really good. So, but I liked Wicked, don't get me wrong. I thought it was a well-deserved winner of the
Yeah.
Oscar.
But next up, we've got Best Film Editing. Just outside of the nominations for Best Film Editing, we've got Challenges, Saturday Night, and The Brutalist. But the nominations is it comes up a bit. There we are. Something's coming. We've got Anora, Conclave, September 5, The Substance, and Wicked. Once again, a lot of this very similar ones that we saw at the Oscars. Dan, what are your thoughts about the nominations here?
Well, arguably, we got the winner in second place at the Academy Awards with Anora and Conclave. But if September 5 was in that lineup, I would argue September 5 would have won editing at the Academy Awards. Somehow, ridiculously, September 5 wasn't in editing. They put Emilia Perez in there instead. And I think it's a travesty because I think the best editing of any movie I've seen all year is September 5. And I know people disagree with me because it's not a best picture contender. So it wasn't going to, so what? So what? Why does it have to be a best picture contender, Malcolm, to be in a category it deserves in that particular guild or brand? You know what I mean? And I thought September 5 had the best editing all year, but that's just me.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that I haven't quite got around to September 5 yet. Like, it only came out over here like a few weeks ago, but it does look interesting from what I've seen in the trailers and that.
Yeah, just let me know what you think of the editing. I think it's got great editing.
Yeah, but next up we've got Best Cinematography, and the just on the outside of for cinematography, we've got The Brutalist, Nickel Boys, and Saturday Night, and Anora. But their nominations for Best Cinematography, what's that? Find the file here. We've got Challenges, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Nosferatu, and Wicked. So, but once again, I don't have any disagreement with any of these. But The Brutalist, who I believe won the category for this one, just missed out. But Dan, what are your thoughts about the nominations here?
Yeah, the Oscar winner is not in the 5 for the Gone with the Wind Awards. Very interesting. And arguably Wicked doesn't have the best cinematography, so maybe Brutalist could have been in here instead of Wicked. I myself loved the Nickel Boys, which wasn't in here. Based on these 5, I think the best cinematography is Nosferatu. Oh my God, I love that cinematography. And of course, Greg Fraser actually does a better job in Dune 2 than he did Dune 1, which he won the Oscar for. It even looks even better in Dune 2. And I love the cinematography in Conclave. Oh, I thought they did a great job in all those different sets and all the different areas that they recreated to make that look like the Vatican, you know?
Yeah, no, it's one of those ones like the way I was doing the nominations, like if they had something at the first spot, it got like 5 points, and then 4, 3, 2, 1. The Brutalist only missed out by 1 point. Like,
wow,
that's how close it was. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
But next up, we've got Cast Ensemble. And just on the outside of the cast ensemble, we've got Sing Sing, Deadpool and Wolverine, I Saw the TV Glow, Gladiator 2, and The Substance were all on the outside. But the nominations for Best Ensemble. We had Anora, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Saturday Night, and Wicked. I know that there's going to be some people happy that Saturday Night got into Best Ensemble because I bet it's probably the one. Probably the movie that came out last year that had the largest ensemble too, with everyone playing a bit different person. I'm personally glad to see Rickard in here as well. I think that ensemble was great, but yeah, it's one of those ones like I think these are all great ensembles. What are your thoughts here, Dan?
Yeah, I mean, I do like the ensemble of Wicked. I think it deserved to be in SAG on ensemble, and it deserves to be in here. Saturday Night though is a great ensemble as well, and there's a lot of characters in Dune. I would say I would replace like Honora with a complete unknown, but I still believe to this day that the best ensemble I've seen all year is Conclave, and it's in here, so that's good sign for this. I just think all these guys had like roll 2 or 3 scenes each, and they all did a great job in each of the scenes. And it's not just, John Lithgow, Stanley Tucci, and Ralph Fiennes and Isabella Rossellini. It's like 10 or 15 different guys and gals doing a really good job in that movie. And that's why I was glad to see it win the SAG ensemble. And I think this is the kind of thing you can look for next year when they do the Academy Awards for ensemble. It's going to be stuff like this where you're going to have a big ensemble. And usually SAG does go with the bigger ensemble. Sometimes they don't, if it's got like a underrepresented group, like Coda was deaf people and Parasite was obviously Asian people that haven't got a lot of representation in Hollywood. So yeah.
But moving on to best documentary, just on the outside, we've got just on the outside we've got The Remarkable Life of Ibelin, Black Box Diaries, and the Golden Film Awards doesn't say poo-poo to movies that were just on TV. So Bray Wyatt Becoming Immortal was just on the outside.
What was that last one, Malcolm?
The Bray Wyatt documentary Becoming Immortal.
Oh yeah, that was a good documentary.
Yeah, but our nominations for best documentary is we've got Daughters, we've got Jim Henson, Idea Man, we've got No Other Land, we've got Superman, the Christopher Reeve story, and Willen Harper. So the Oscar winner is in here, and I think Daughters was also nominated. And then our documentary bunch doesn't say poo-poo to celebrity documentaries either. So
yeah, how about that? How about getting Superman and Willen Harper and Jim Henson in here? Good job, voters who voted for the Gone with the Wind Awards. You guys did a great job, and you got the Oscar winner in here, so you covered all your bases. I would have liked to have seen maybe instead of Daughters, The Remarkable Life of Ibelin. I like that better, but hey, I can't argue with this lineup. This is a great lineup. I'm glad the Gone with the Wind voters did a great job and got the right docs in here. Fantastic.
Yeah, no, it's one of those ones like documentary is probably one of the ones that like not a lot of people. Like especially in this community watches too.
Yeah,
not
right.
Not so it was like so there was some people who like may have only seen like one doc and put one. It was like just
well. I'll tell you this, Malcolm. I'll tell you right now. You can find Black Box Diary on Paramount Plus with Showtime. If you guys got that, what was the other ones? Bray Wyatt's obviously on Peacock. What was the? And Ibelin is on Netflix. And all these other ones are available on Hulu, Max, Netflix, except for No Other Land is not available because we know about the distribution rights and the whole thing. So that's the only one that's not available.
I think No Other Land is on some service for me. I think it's on.
Oh, is it? Good for you.
Yeah. Not that it's something I'm rushing out to see. Like I'm not. It's one of those. Just like the Mariupol one from last year's. Like I'm not in a rush to see those kind of documentaries where they show this stuff happening where I can just watch news and see the same stuff happening.
No, there's another one coming this year, Malcolm. 15 kilometers from some town in Ukraine. That's from the same filmmakers of 20 Days in Mariupol, and they're saying it is amazing. Came out of Sundance.
Yeah, I mean, The Greatest Night of Pop is a great documentary.
Yeah, good doc.
I do think it's good. Like it's one of those ones. Like once again, when it comes to like, I think it's a lot of people in the, like people they prefer to see stuff in theaters, so like they're not always looking for stuff on Netflix.
I think that was a little early. It came out a little too early too. I think people forgot about it, Malcolm.
Well, yeah, that too. I mean, it's one of those ones where when it came out, like, had a lot of stuff. But moving on to a category that is unique to us is best comedy movie. Just on the outside, looking in, we've got Dan's favorite movie, A Real Pain. The People's Joker is just on the outside, and Hitman is just on the outside.
Wow.
I have no idea what The People's Joker is.
Oh god. Trust me, Malcolm. Just look up and read the synopsis. You're not going to like it.
But nominated for best comedy, we've got Anora, we've got Deadpool and Wolverine, we've got Hundreds and Beavers, we've got Saturday Night, and we got Thelma. Some of those are some of my favorite documentaries. Hundreds favorite comedies, rather. Hundreds of Beavers, I do think is pretty good. It's one of those ones where I was entertained by it, but I didn't think it was that funny as a comedy. But it was still entertaining.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. I thought it was really entertaining. I think it was a live action like Looney Tunes cartoon or
something.
Like that.
I have a lot of people say the same thing about it.
And then there was a lot of good laughs in Saturday Night, and obviously the banter and the stuff in Deadpool was funny, and of course the Oscar winner for Best Picture is a screwball comedy, Anora, so it makes sense. Yeah. But I'm glad to see there was love for in the community for Thelma. An action comedy with 80-something-year-old woman and a man who's dead now. So, but
yeah,
Richard Roundtree, right? Richard Roundtree, right?
Yeah, yeah. But moving on from the comedies to the horrors, on the outside looking in for best horror movie, we've got Blink Twice, Beetlejuice, Heretic, Something Called Die Alone, and The First Omen. They're all on just on the outside. But nominated for best horror movie, is I Saw the TV Glow, Late Night with the Devil, Long Legs, Smile 2, Strange Darling, and The Substance.
Wow.
And
what a group. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, it's one of those ones, like, especially if the way I know this community and the fact that with the love that people have for So I Saw the TV Glow, we're definitely going to see that more coming out in some of these other categories.
I love these movies. This is a great category, Malcolm. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I will say I was really hoping that because on our long list for original song, there was some songs on Smile 2 on the long list. But none of them sort of got in here. I think one that I was surprised to see miss out on best horror though, because I know there's a lot of love for the Terrifier movies. I thought Terrifier 3 was going to get in here somehow, but it is what it is.
And no aliens. Alien. What's the subtext?
Alien Romulus.
No alien Romulus in it, but you can only have so many, right? I mean, but yeah, this is a hell of a category. The Gone with the Wind voters, great job. I'm a massive fan of all of these films. I think you did a great job. Real quick, Malcolm, I've been saying this, I've been beating this drum all year long, and I feel like if it wasn't for the horror genre, this would have been a really bad year overall financially. Yeah, you had your few billion-dollar movies that come out. A couple of them were animated movies and stuff like that, and Disney and stuff. But mostly it was horror movies that saved the box office from January all the way to December with Nosferatu. Horror movies really saved the box office and saved theaters. I mean, if you looked any given week, there would have been some kind of a horror movie in the theaters all through the entire year. And they really saved 2024 as far as a theater going experience, because there really wasn't a lot of other things out there to see. And there was quite a few based on this list. You could see what a great sampling of the horror movies, and that's not even all the horror movies that came out. I mean, it was a massive list of horror films that came out in 2024. You know?
Yeah. But moving on to best foreign language movie, just on the outside we've got The Count of Monte Cristo, Kill, Kneecap, and Evil Does Not Exist. They're all on the outside, but nominated for foreign language movie. And hopefully this works the way I want it to work. Yes, it does. We had All We Imagine Is Light, Flow, I'm Still Here, Red Rooms, and The Seed of the Sacred Fig. I'm totally not surprised to not see Emilio Perez, given how much people really don't like that movie. I'm Still Here, the Oscar winner is here, and Flow was nominated, and then some of these other ones. I think was Seed of the Sacred Fig nominated as well. Was that?
Yes.
Yeah. And then Red Rooms and All We Imagine Lives popping up in there as well. But what are your thoughts about the nomination for foreign language movie?
No, I love these nominations. Red Rooms, I will admit, I haven't seen Red Rooms. That was one of the few movies last year that I could not get a hold of for whatever reasons. I just wasn't able to get a hold of Red Rooms. But I am going to see it because I now have a Shudder account, and I believe it's on Shudder. So I'm going to be able to see it. But my favorite, I'll be honest with my favorite foreign language film of the year is All We Imagine Is Light. I think it's an incredible movie, and I think India dropped the ball again. This movie should have been their pick for best international feature, and if it was, it would have been in the 5, and it probably would have won over I'm Still Here. I hate to say that for Brazilian fans out there. Don't spam the comments, Brazilian people, but I feel like All We Imagine Is Light is the best of the international films I saw. And two of my favorites, Kneecap and The Count of Monte Cristo, are in the weren't even in the 5, so, or the 6 or whatever. It's 5, but so it does tell you how a deep year international feature was this year. And you even got an animated film in here, Flow.
Yeah. But moving and that provides a really good segue to animated feature. So just on the outside for animated feature, we've got Look Back, Transformers 1, Orion in the Dark, and partially because I was one of the only people in this community that liked it. Apparently, the Garfield movie was out the side. I love Garfield. I enjoyed the Garfield movie.
All right,
but the nominations for best animated feature is basically the Oscar 5.
It is the Oscar 5. What are you talking about? Basically, it is the Oscar 5.
It's one of those ones like I'm not overly surprised. Like I know a lot of people like this movie. Like I'm not as high on Wallace and Gromit as other people are. I love Wallace and Gromit in general, but as Adventures of Mayflower, I don't think worked too much for me. But it's one of those ones like there really is no surprises here. Like the animated movies were not the best this year. So I'm not too surprised that it's just basically the same as the Oscars is what we're getting here. So, but Dan, any other thoughts?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. And let's put it out there. Whoever's Brian or whoever else is watching, Malcolm is an Aardman stan. He is an Aardman stan. He loves his Aardman movies. So for him to say he wasn't as big a fan of Wallace and Gromit, Vegetable, that's saying something for Malcolm because he's an Aardman lover. He loves his Aardman movies. But my favorite, of course, is The Wild Robot. I love this movie. I was shocked on Sunday night when The Wild Robot did not win the Oscar. Flow, a movie that any of us could have made on this software that's out there, that's free software. Anybody could have made this movie, and this guy Gintz made this movie, and the dang guy ended up winning an Oscar for making a movie on free software. I mean, are you kidding me? He's going to be having DreamWorks, Illumination, Disney, Pixar knocking at his door. Come on over, Gintz. We want you to make a movie for us because that's what's going to happen. This guy's going to be working for the big boys.
I mean, honestly, I hope he doesn't. Like, I hope he just keeps doing his own stuff. Like, it seems to be working for him, but it's like, And it's one of those ones like I'm still yet to see Flow myself.
Oh,
But
it's on
it's
Max. Do you have Max over in New Zealand?
no.
Oh man, crap.
I mean, it'll probably pop up somewhere for me eventually. But it's one of those ones I think, and it definitely shows especially with this year's Oscars, like how much the Oscars really loved the small independent movies. Like you had
Oh yeah, yeah.
Anora, whose budget was like $6 million, getting Best Picture in Flow, which I think they said that was only made for a small amount of money as well.
A minuscule amount of money, a minuscule. Yeah. And then Brutalist is the same thing, $6 million, and then Netflix A24 bought it for 10, which gave Brady Colbert his $6 million back. I'm still here with it's Sony Pictures Classics. That wasn't made for a lot of money. None of these movies, except for like Dune and Wicked, were made for a lot of money. I mean, it was the year of the indie. Really, it really was, Malcolm. You're absolutely right.
Wait, Brutalist was only $6 million. Like, just looking at the trailer, it looks like it was a lot more than that.
$6 million, and then A24 bought it for 10, which gave Brady Corbett his $6 million back.
That's actually really cool, honestly. But moving on to Best Original Screenplay, just on the outside, we've got Civil War, Strange Darling, and Saturday Night. But our nominations for Best Original Screenplay, we've got comes up Anora, A Real Pain, Challenges, I Saw the TV Glow, and The Substance. Dan, what are your thoughts here?
Well, this is the usual suspects for the Academy Award, the top three probably in that category for the Academy Award. Then you got I Saw the TV Glow, which I think is an amazing screenplay. I'm glad that's in here, and Challengers, which is another one that's an amazing screenplay. So this is a really good category. I mean, I don't know if Sean Baker's going to win it this time or not. It could end up being Jesse Eisenberg or Corley Fargette. We'll see. We'll see what wins the best original screenplay in the Gone with the Wind Awards.
Yeah. Also, funny enough, these movie reports like betrayed roles going look like he's John Cena.
Yeah, Luis Mendez giving you some shade, Malcolm. It's giving you some shade.
But moving on to adapted screenplay, just on the outside, we've got Furiosa, Mad Max Saga, Hitman, and A Complete Unknown just on the outside. But our nominations for Best Adapted Screenplay, we've got Conclave, Deadpool and Wolverine, Dune Part 2, Nickel Boys, Sing Sing, and Wicked, which I think is mostly the usual ones with the addition of Wicked and Deadpool and Wolverine in here.
Yeah.
Wicked was nominated for adapted, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't. Was it? It had 10 nominations. Maybe it was. I can't remember. Someone in the comments tell us if Wicked was nominated for adapted screenplay or not. I forget.
But yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones like not overly surprised about some of these.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think the top three, in my opinion, were Nickel Boys, Dune 2, and Conclave. And Conclave, obviously, being the Oscar winner, I thought Peter Strahan killed it with that screenplay. Absolutely. Yeah. And it's, I mean, unbelievable. A lone screenplay winner, and Lewis is going to be on a podcast about that, talking about the lone screenplay winner, which is Conclave, which Peter Strahan, Malcolm, did Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy about 10, 15, 12 years ago or whatever. Look at those two movies together. Look how amazing that screenplay is. Yeah. And look at the Conclaves. I mean, so good. Both of those screenplays. It's like, wow. You could see these are Peter Strahan screenplays. And I think Conclave's got this. I mean, yeah. Come on. I've got to vote for this.
Speaking about Lewis, he says that it wasn't an adapted, but it got in the WGA, though.
All right. Thank you, Lewis. Appreciate that, buddy. So Wicked gets in here for adapted. So yeah. That's it's just because of the popularity of Wicked it got in here.
Yeah. Really. But moving on to Best Director, and And arguably this is one that I was most intrigued by when I was tabulating things, as you'll find out when I announce. But on the outside, you've got the Oscar winner Sean Baker for Nora. Luca Guadagnino challenges was just on the outside, and Robert Eggers for Nosferatu is just on the outside. But our nominated for Best Director, we've got, once it comes up, we've got Edward Berger for Conclave, Denis Villeneuve for Dune Part 2, Jane Snellenbrunn, probably butchered that last name terribly, from I Saw the TV Globe, Coley Farjay for The Substance, and John M. Chu for Wicked.
Look,
So-
this is a solid lineup, Malcolm. Go ahead. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, so I think we've only got one of the nominated directors here. Was Edward Berger nominated for Conclave? Was
No,
he-
snubbed.
yeah.
Snubbed.
Yeah,
So the
So
only
the-
one you got is Corley Farjet, and from the
Yeah.
directors that were nominated for the Academy Award, and Baker on the outside looking in. Wow, John M. Chu, great, glad to see him in here. Jane Schoenberg, I love I Saw the TV Globe, so I'm not upset. Of course, the Gone with the Wind Awards voter we're going to reward Denis Villeneuve. Get him in here. That was, those 2 wins for Dune at the Academy Awards, Malcolm. They both mentioned how incredible a director and what a great job working with Denis Villeneuve was, and they just want to keep like putting that needle in the eye of the Academy. Why wasn't he nominated for Best Director? And I love Conclave. I was like, how can Edward Berger not be in Best Director for Conclave? I don't understand. 2 times now for All Quiet on the Western Front. And now Conclave. What does this guy got to do to get a nomination for Best Director? Him and Denis Villeneuve.
I mean, it's one of those ones. Like I think they'll get the due eventually. Maybe like Denis gets in for Dune Messiah. I don't.
And
know.
Berger's got a movie out this year. Believe it or
it-
not, Edward Berger's got another movie out this year.
Yeah. But moving on to Best Young Actor / Actress. Just on the outside, Daphne Keane for Deadpool and Wolverine, Elliot Heffernan from Blitz, and Ariel Donahue from Trap. But nominated for Best Young Actor / Actress we've got Alicia Rare for Abigail, Isaac Rang for Dee Dee, Ayla Brown for Furious, a Mad Max Story, Catherine Mellon Kupferer for Ghostlight, and Maisie Seller for My Old Ass. It's a solid lineup. It's one of those ones like, and I think Alicia Rare was great in Abigail. I think she's a surprise. Like, I can't wait to see where she goes. I can there's like starting off in Matilda the musical and moving on to Abigail. Like, she's already showed range in just 2 movies, and I've heard a lot of good things about Dee Dee. I haven't seen it myself, but My Old Ass is great. But Dan, what are your thoughts about the young actor actress comedy category?
Yeah, seeing Catherine Mellon Kupferer in here, it tells me that Dylan Randazzo may have done some voting in the Gone with the Wind Awards, because he is a massive fan of Ghostlight. So it makes sense that she popped up in here. But she was also, what was it? Hello. I always get the title. Hello, God. What was that one?
Are you there? Are you there? God, it's me, Margaret.
Yeah, she was in Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, last year. So, no, this is a solid lineup. I was glad to see Aaliyah Brown in here from Furiosa. I thought she was really good in Furiosa, Mad Max Story. Maisie Stella, though, I think she was the standout of the year for young actors. I think she's over the limit now. I think she's an adult now, but she was a young person when she was making My Old Ass. But I knew you were Alicia Weir fan, Malcolm. I was like, this is a Malcolm all the way at Abigail, because I knew you liked her from Matilda. So now Matilda and Abigail, she played 2 girls movies with 2 girls named Matilda Abigail, you know. So I wonder what the next movie she's in. Is she going to play another movie where she plays a girl and the title is the girl's name or something, you know?
Yeah. You know, Maisie Stell's only 21.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those ones like when it for young actors. Like I always like done the rule like under 25 is kind of my limit.
Oh, okay. I got
Yeah.
you.
But moving on to best supporting actress, we had Zoe's just on the outside, Zoe Saldana from Amelia Perez, Katie O'Brien for Love Lies Bleeding, and Adria Arjona for Hitman. But nominated for best supporting actress, and we've got a bit of a big lineup here. As I always do when it comes to tiebreak, it's like I'm gonna put them all in here. It's not too big. It's not like millions of people, but it's about 7. We've got Felicity Jones for The Brutalist, Kaylee Spaney for Civil War, Monica Barbaro for Complete Unknown, Isabella Rossellini for Conclave, Danielle Deadweiler for The Piano Lesson, Margaret Qualley for The Substance, and Ariana Grande for Record. And it's one of those ones like a lot of these I kind of expect to see because I knew a lot of people love Civil War, and I know a lot of people have been praising Katie Spaney and Civil War specifically. And but to see a lot of these other ones like Mark Qualley, I think should have been nominated at the Oscars for supporting, and I think so. Good to see some of these other ones get in as well. But Dan, what are your thoughts about supporting actress?
Yeah, I mean, if the Academy had 7 nominees, I'll tell you right now, Malcolm, this looks like it could have been the 7 people for the Academy Awards. Looking at this list of 7 here, this is a really solid lineup of supporting actresses who did a great job. Good to see Danielle Deadweiler here. Of course, you know, the nominees that we already saw that were nominated for the Academy Awards in here. Kaylee Spaney, I thought she was great in Civil War. And she was good in Alien Romulus. So she had 2 good movies last year. And then obviously she was in Priscilla the year before that. So she's really coming along. This is a good category. I think amongst this group of the Gone with the Wind voters, I think Ariana might have a chance of winning this thing here. You never know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's one of those ones. I know a lot of people that are in this thing,
but no Zoe, of course. No, the Oscar winner is not in here. Interesting enough.
But I mean, but then again, a lot of people just don't like Amelia Perez.
Yeah. They I guess the Gone with the Wind voters lumped her in with the rest of the hatred for Amelia Perez, and the Academy did not do that. So yeah, no Zoe, kind of a shocker here.
But I'm actually going to correct Brian's correction. She was in There God It's Me, Margaret. I just looked up her IMDb, Brian. She was in it. She played Gretchen Potter in
Thank you, Malcolm. Thank you for having my back, Malcolm. Appreciate that.
Well, I mean, it's one of those ones like I saw Brian's thing. I was like, I'm going to double check just to make sure because I didn't want to call out a comment if it was incorrect.
Hey, I remember her in that movie, and then when I saw Ghostlight, I said, "Oh my God, that's the same girl from that movie, and that's her mom and dad that's in this movie with her. Her whole entire family was in Ghostlight with her." And I said, "Oh wait, that's the girl from that movie I saw last year."
Yeah. But moving on to supporting actor, and one one thing I will mention is like it's one of those ones like I didn't sort of tell anyone like I let the voters sort of make their own considerations on who they on what they consider as a supporting versus lead. So but just on the outside of supporting actor, we had Josh O'Connor for Challenges, Guy Pearce for The Brutalist, and Owens Keane for Tuesday. I do not know what that is. Jesse Eisenberg was out around there as well. But our nominations for Best Supporting Actor is We had Yura Borisov from Anora, Jeremy Strong for The Apprentice, Mike Feist from Challengers, Edward Norton for Complete Unknown, Denzel Washington for Gladiator 2, Kieran Culkin for Real Pain, and Jonathan Bailey for Wicked getting in there, showing more of the Wicked love. And I'm kind of glad because I think Jonathan Bailey was great in Wicked personally. I think he was amazing. So I'm glad to see him get some love. And like I actually finally saw Real Pain. Yes, would have been whatever day it dropped on Disney Plus or Hulu. But I finally got around to seeing it then. I loved it. I thought it was a good movie. Sorry, Dan. I did think it was good.
That's
Dan.
fine. No, I have no issues with people liking something that I don't like. I have no issues with that at all.
Yeah, and I do think Kieran Culkin was good in Real Pain. I do, and it's one of those. I get the argument people are making that Kieran Culkin is not supporting, but I can also see the argument for him being supporting it. So he's one of those ones that, like, you can make an argument for either one of Jesse or Kieran being supporting or lead, and I would say, yeah, you're right. Like, there's no right or wrong answer in this case.
No, I agree. I think the movie's from the point of view of Jesse Eisenberg's character, and that he kind of brings along Kieran Culkin's character as his like cousin or whatever, and that's why I think he kind of gets the whole supporting thing. You know what I mean? I'm glad to see Denzel in here. I'm glad Edward Norton got in with them with the Gone with the Wind. Good. Glad the Gone with the Wind voters didn't like exclude Jeremy Strong because of that movie, The Apprentice. I still think him and Sebastian Stan are phenomenal in that movie, despite the topic of what the movie's about. I've said it. I saw it back in I think September, and I've been saying it all along. I thought those guys were incredible in those roles. But yeah, you got the Oscar winner Kieran Culkin in here, so it'll be interesting to see what happens if he ends up winning the Gone with the Wind award or not. By the way, the guy that played in Tuesday, he plays a talking parakeet. It's the voice of a talking parakeet in Tuesday. Just to let you know what that is, Malcolm.
Interesting. But moving on to lead actor, and it's the reason I made that distinction earlier, but just not letting the voters decide. And it's one of those ones I wouldn't have put someone in both categories for the same role. I would have been like whichever category had this actor being the higher voted, and Kieran Culkin was the highest voter for the supporting side. But just on the outside for lead actor, we had Sebastian Stan for The Apprentice and Kieran Culkin for Real Pain. So there's a few people. There is some people that really do think Kieran is lead, and as I said, you're not wrong. Coleman Domingo for Sing Sing was just on the outside, and Daniel Craig for Queer was just on the outside.
Wow. Two Oscar nominees, right?
Yep.
But Daniel Craig, Coleman Domingo, and who was the three Oscar nominees are on the outside in the Gone with the Wind awards. Wow.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have an interesting Best Actor lineup here.
Yeah. But the nominations for Best Actor is Adrian Brody for The Brutalist, Timothy Chalamet for Complete Unknown, Ray Fiennes for Conclave, Justice Smith for I Saw the TV Go, and Aaron Pierre for Rebel Ridge. The nominations for Gone with the Wind awards.
And I just realized I couldn't have three because there's three here, Malcolm. Brutalist.
Oh,
what am I missing?
Daniel Craig wasn't nominated.
That's what it was.
It was Coleman Domingo and Sebastian Stan, the other two.
Daniel Craig was nominated for SAG. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Okay. I got them mixed up there. Okay. Go ahead for what you were saying.
But yeah, it's like I don't have too much. I'm not too and it's one of those ones like I know people love I Saw the TV Go. I'm not a fan of it. I don't get the movie. I thought Justice Smith was terrible in the movie. So
oh wow.
Look, I get people love the movie, and yeah, I was surprised to see them really get Justice Smith into the lead actor, but it is what it is.
Wow.
But Dan, what are your thoughts here?
I saw the TV Glow, and I thought he had basically two movies out at the same time, Malcolm, And if you go look up the other one, something about a magical Negroes, like Society of Magical Negroes or whatever, that movie is awful compared to I Saw the TV Glow, in my opinion. So I always thought Justice Smith was better in this than he was the other one. But I still would have put like a Sebastian Stan in here, even Daniel Craig in here over Justice Smith. Surprised to see Aaron Pierre, though, from Rebel Ridge. I didn't realize there was such a groundswell of people. I know Dylan Randazzo is a massive fan of Rebel Ridge and Justice. I Saw the TV Go, so he probably voted for both of these. But my favorite all along has always been Ralph Fiennes and Conclave. Good to see him back in here. The Oscar winners in here, so you never know how this is going to go. It could go to Timmy. It could go to anybody. But with the Oscar winner being in here, there's a good chance Adrian Brody could pull off. By the way, the worst speech. I was giving Timothy a hard time with his SAG speech. That speech from Adrian Brody at the what are you doing, Adrian Brody? What are you doing?
I mean, the fact that like he stopped the music from playing him off.
Come on, dude. Have something to get. You're gonna tell him stop playing the music. Have something important to say. Don't have your wife in the audience yelling names that you haven't said yet to you, dude. Remember who the heck to thank. You know, I mean, geez.
But yeah. I mean, it's one of those ones like I don't know if Adrian wins this one. I know, like a lot of people, either are mixed on the burn list or they just don't like it as much, or just because I know like it's only just started sort of going right now, like in the last few weeks and stuff. So actually, it's probably a bit longer than that now. But moving on to lead actress. Just on the outside for lead actress, we had Naomi Scott for Smile 2, June Squibb for Thelma, which both of those make me sad that they didn't get in. Fernanda Torres from I'm Still Here and Angelina Jolie for Maria. But nominated for Best Actress is Mikey Madison for Nora, Zendaya for Challenges, Willa Fitzgerald for Strange Darling, Demi Moore for The Substance, and Cynthia Erivo for Wicked. Once again, you got the Best Actress winner here. You got who I would argue is probably the runner-up, and Demi Moore, and then Cynthia Erivo and Zendaya, Cynthia Erivo, who was nominated, Zendaya, who I think should have been nominated, honestly.
And I would argue Angelina Jolie should have been nominated, but that's just me. I think she was amazing in Maria, but whatever. I mean, it is what it is. But go ahead, Malcolm.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I would have had Zendaya nominated over Carla Sofia Gascon any day.
Yeah, I agree. I'll take either Angie or Zendaya at this point over Carla. But I love the Gone with the Wind voters are surprising me at some of these guys. Willa Fitzgerald for Strange Darling being in here. What a crazy getting a couple of horror movie people in here, and then of course you know the love for Wicked, so Cynthia Erivo and obviously the Oscar winner being in here. So this could go any way. You never know where this is going to go. You gonna say something?
No.
Oh, okay.
But moving on. But to Best Picture, just on the outside of Best Picture, we had Saturday Night, The Wild Robot, Strange Darling, and Civil War all being on the outside. But nominated for Best Picture, we've got takes a little bit of time. We've got Anora, I Saw the TV Glow, Nosferatu, Challenges, A Real Pain, A Complete Unknown, The Substance, Conclave, Dune Part 2, and Wicked. I'm pretty sure that's mostly a lot was nominated. Like I'm Still Here isn't here. Amelia Perez isn't here, but I think those are the only two that were nominated for the Oscars that didn't make it in. But challenge, yeah. So challenges on there either. But Dan, what are your thoughts about the nominations for Best Picture?
We got seven of my top 10 favorite films of the year, and you said Just Missing Out was The Wild Robot. That would have been 8 of my 10 favorite films of the year. So if that had gotten in over something else, this is a great lineup. I absolutely love this lineup. I could have kicked out A Real Pain. If it was me, I would have kicked out A Real Pain and put Wild Robot in here. But hey, this is the Gone with the Wind voters. This is what they voted. So you gotta go with it. I love the lineup. I absolutely love the lineup. I thought Challengers was a great film. I'm not as high on it as some people, but this overall, this is a fantastic lineup of films. Malcolm, I cannot argue with this film, with this lineup here. Lack of an international kind of feel, lack of an animation feel, but other than that, I mean, it's a great list. I have no problems with this. I mean, maybe Nickel Boys I would have liked to see in there instead of A Real Pain, but you know what it is what it is. This is a solid list, Malcolm.
Yeah. But yeah, that is the Gone for the Win awards for this year. I will have the voting forms made up today, and they'll be dropped. I'll be putting it on the Take 3 page, and maybe my Twitter and stuff for other people would like within the next couple of days. So you can vote on that. And I'll probably have the voting open for like a couple of weeks, and then maybe and I think end of March, maybe I will be announcing the middle end of March. I'll announce the winners. I haven't decided yet on when I'm going to announce the awards, but I will be for the next couple of weeks. And that because I want to give a good amount of time for the voting as well. So, but Dan, where can people find you online?
Yeah, you can find me right there. I'm the owner, editor-in-chief, and head film critic of FromTheFourthRow.com. I got a lot of good content coming. My review of Daredevil Born Again will be tonight. You'll be able to read my review of that show. Also, a lot of Mickey 17 review coming out this week. We got a early predictions article on the Golden Row coming this week from one of my writers, Kyle. So stay tuned to FromTheFourthRow.com. You're going to be getting some good content on there. Also, you know, my name, Dan Skip Allen, on Twitter or X, Threads, Blue Sky, Facebook, Letterbox, the Oscar Expert app. I'm going to be going in there and doing my predictions of early predictions. You know, this is early. It's just going to be fun to just do early predictions on the Oscar Expert app. So, but I'm going to be popping up on Chasing Labels. That's a physical media channel over on the Dill Pickle channel. You know, Malcolm and me have both done episodes of Picture This. Great. I recommend everybody go support the Dill Pickle channel. Obviously, the movie Hero Network, Malcolm does a lot of work for them. I've done a lot of work for them as well on there. So I'm all over the place. You just gotta want to go look for me. And of course, we just did our Oscar Oscar reactions after the show on Sunday last night. Real Consideration. Luis A. Mendez and myself. That was the last episode until next season of Real Consideration. Malcolm was a guest on there. Maybe we'll have Malcolm back again more than just once last year. We only had him once last year, but maybe we'll have him multiple times. Who knows? But we're going to come back just as strong. We're going to be Lewis is going to be improving the podcast more. It's going to be a new and improved and better. We're going to keep trying to improve it every year. And we got a whole new year of movies to look forward to and Real Consideration in 2025, 2026. So stay tuned for that.
And you can find me on Tape Productions, where I host Rankin every week. We've been doing it on Saturday the last few weeks. It's going to be on Saturday again this week. And we'll be doing top 12 Robert Pattinson movies, so it should be somewhat of an interesting list. And you can also find me on my personal channel, Middle Earth Media, as I host Spare from the Past. Next week, on Sunday, I'll have a special episode all on the first 4 seasons of NXT. The challenge, the reality show concept seasons. I'll be talking on that with Jacob Cameron and Richie Goodacre, and then next week on Wednesday I'll be talking about NXT Takeover War Games from 2020 with Steve Mesa, and I pop up here and there in other places all the time, and I'll be on Movie Hero Network later on today doing action movie tournament. So a lot of good things happening, but that is the end of this nomination announcement, and we'll see you next time. Let's find something to go out on.
I'm just a huge fan of the sport.